Good morning and welcome to my Facebook Live this morning. My name's Jenny McCormack. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the UK. Today we are going to be doing some heat embossing. Yesterday I did some in silver and white. It's very dull here today, so I'm not sure how shiny this looks to you. It looks really dull because I've got my blinds at a different angle. But this is the white heat embossing, and this one here is the silver. Now we do have embossing powders in white, silver, gold and clear, and that's fine, but what happens if you wanted some red embossing? Now what heat embossing does is it turns the image glossy, and many years ago we did used to have a selection of different coloured embossing powders, so you could buy a selection. And the problem with that is how many colours do you keep in stock? So Stampin' Up have withdrawn those for the standard colours, but what we can do is use clear embossing over a colour, single or different colours, to get the same effect. And the way that we do that is we use our Versamark ink pad after we've used our colour of ink, and then we use clear embossing powder, sorry there's only a little bit left in there, to emboss that particular image. Morning Carol with an E, I hope you are well. So I'm still going to use the balloon stamp today, but you could do this on any image, whether it's an outline image or whether it's a solid image. One I did yesterday, and if you can see that, this is the flower from Perennial Essence, and I've heat embossed that from pink, so it's all nice and glossy. So it's very straightforward. The other thing I'm going to show you is how, for this particular stamp, you could have two different colours and also heat emboss those. So that's my plan for today. Yeah, it's so wet here, it's unbelievable, and what a change from yesterday where it was beautifully sunny. But hey ho, there we go. We can't have it all the way. No doubt the farmers will be happy we have a bit of rain. Okay, so I'm just waiting for Molly to join us and Babsy. I know they both were going to join us before I get to cracking. So the colours I thought I would try is Poppy Parade, a nice bright red, and then to do a two-tone card I'm going to use Coastal Cabana and Pacific Point. That's my intention. So just finish my morning coffee and then we will get cracking. Right, so I am just going to use a piece of cut down Whisper White card. Let's do the Poppy Parade one first. It's a single colour. Okay, so for this technique I really do recommend the Stamparatus, This is because you can then get the stamping of the clear embossed layer exactly on top of the other layer. If you have photopolymer stamps that are see-through, you could do this as well. It won't work particularly well if you're using a foam mount stamp, because you can't see exactly the image underneath. So here's my Stamparatus, and I'm just going to pop my stamp on here. So I've cut this down already to if I'll do it straight, or I'll do one straight and one at an angle, I think. So just going to position that there. I've got my magnets on to hold my paper in place. Going to pick up that stamp like so. Okay. Oh, I didn't clean it completely, but it will do the job. I thought I had. No, I'm going to do it a different way. You can do it that way, but I find this way is safest to avoid people doing exactly that, Carol. So what I'm going to do is ink up our stamp just with the colour that I want to start with, and then I'm going to go over it afterwards once it's been stamped with the Versamark. So I know sometimes people will do the Versamark and then the colour, but this one I think personally gives a better result. If you didn't have a Stamparatus, you could do it that way, definitely. Okay, so oh, it's a good start, isn't it? That's because I haven't got anything underneath there. Let me just lift this up so I've got a flat surface to work on, and we'll try that again. I'm hoping, oh yes, you can see that. Good. Right, let's see if we get a better result this time. There we go. Okay, I'm happy with that. So now we've got our happy birthday in situ, like so, in the Poppy Parade. So what I'm now going to do is clean that stamp off and then apply Versamark on top of that image. Let me just grab that. Absolutely, Carol, definitely. If you're doing it as a one-off stamp, then yes, you could add the Versamark first and then the ink from the coloured ink pad. So what I'm going to do now is ink this up like so, and stamp it. So basically I've now got a clear layer on top of ink. Just push that back down. And the benefit of doing it this way is that you can add a few layers to make sure it's nicely inked up. So this is the Versamark ink pad. So basically I'm applying 2 layers of Versamark ink on top of my coloured layer. Okay, lift that off. So I don't know if you can see, that is quite wet and sticky because it's got the Versamark on it. Just move that out of the way. Verity. Yes, exactly. It's a bit less risky because if you forget to clean off your stamp or something, then you end up with, you know, you can get your Versamark really contaminated and vice versa. So all I'm doing now is adding my clear embossing powder over that image, like so. Whoops. And tapping that off. So hopefully you can see that that's quite dull because it's got the powder on it. Let me grab my heat gun. Just let that warm up, and then I'm going to heat set this. And you'll see it change from dull, hopefully, to nice and glossy. Sorry if that was noisy, but now you can see that is now beautifully glossy, even the threads here, like so. Morning, Molly. So that's a single colour. So all I'm going to show you is the same thing, but how you can do that in multicolours. So don't worry, Molly, I will show you again. So there's the glossy one in Gorgeous Grape, and this is the one in Poppy Parade, like so. So this is beautifully glossy. You can also go over and colour this in if you want to. Now one thing it will do very slightly is it will deepen the colour. Oh, I can see a bit there I've missed. Right in the middle. It'll deepen the colour of the ink. You see a tiny bit right in the middle. There we go. So just be aware of that. Only a little bit. But there we go. Okay, so let me show you how to do the same thing, but this time I'm actually going to do two colours of balloon to make it fade dark to light. So let's bring back the Stamparatus here. And this has got Versamark ink on it. I am just going to wipe it down, just because I don't want to contaminate my ink pads too much, like so. So what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to have a two-tone glossy balloon. I'm going to go from Pacific Point into Coastal Cabana, and I always recommend doing the lightest one first. Okay, and you'll see why in a second. I hope you can see the balloon there on the side. Yes, it looks like you can. Right, so Verity, have you got horrible wet weather where you are too? I loved your Facebook post that I saw this morning. Okay, so we've got two colours. We're going to go from light to dark, dark to light. I'm going to start with Coastal Cabana. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shortest edge of the ink pad, okay, and that's going to be the top area that I use. So I'm going to do sort of birthday downwards, I think. So I'm using that top edge because I know then it's quite close to the end. So once I've created this border here, I can go ahead and ink up the rest. Let's make sure it's well inked. Hopefully not too inked. Okay, so that's my Coastal Cabana. And now I'm going to take my Pacific Point and come in from the other edge. And again, I always select the narrowest part of the ink pad, okay, to do that. I'm actually going to take this off of here to make it easier to ink up. So don't be afraid to take this off so you can angle it the best way possible. So because I'm right-handed, I'm going to have it this way around. So I'm using my Pacific Point, and again the narrowest edge so I don't end up with a gap, okay, on the happy section. Now you can't see really the colour difference in there, you might just be able to pick it out. Obviously if you had two completely different colours you would probably see that a bit better. Okay, so now I've got dark going to light. Let's bring the Stamparatus back. Pop that in there. Okay, grab my sheet of white card. And I'm just using straight Whisper White. I have cut the size down. Not quite sure where the balloon's going to fit, so not like that. Let's move that magnet right down to the bottom. There we go. Yep, I think that will do. I'll put that one up there. Okay, so I'm now going to stamp this, and I should have a two-tone balloon. So you could use this for any image anyway, even if you weren't heat embossing it. Okay. You could do multiple colours, okay, just make sure that you use the lightest one first, and my recommendation is to use that, as I say, the narrowest gap. Okay, so there we've got dark going through to light. Let me just stamp this bit here. There we go, looks like I didn't ink that up particularly well, so let's just do that little bit. Difficult to see. Hopefully I've done that. So definitely the benefit of Stamparatus, where you've got a bigger stamp. I think I still missed it. Let me take it off from here. There we are. Try that. That's better. Okay, so there I've got my two-tone colouring. As I say, you could have completely contrasting colours if you wanted. So I'm now going to wipe that stamp off with the colour, and then use my Versamark ink, and then heat emboss it with a clear embossing powder. There we go. Okay, so here's my Versamark. So I'm going to ink this all the way over and stamp it, and I'm actually going to do this twice so that I get a really good coverage of Versamark. Now if you had a brand new Versamark ink pad, you probably wouldn't need to do this, but mine is rather well used. I think I might replace these. Oops, at some point. Just want to flatten that down. There we go. Now because it's clear, if you don't get it in exactly the right place, it's not absolutely critical. And also you'll notice that I haven't used an embossing buddy because I'm just using clear powder, so you won't really see it. You might see a little element of shine. Okay, so clear embossing powder. This one really needs replacing because I haven't got much of it left at all. And I have got an admission to make, which I'll tell you about in a second. So I'm sprinkling over the clear embossing powder, and you'll notice it goes quite matte. And do the balloon tight as well, like so. Okay, just flicking that excess off. And then I'm going to heat that, and then it will go all nice and glossy. So yesterday when I was looking up embossing powders in the back of the catalogue, I said, oh, it's got the wrong page number on. And it hadn't at all, because I misread, because I wasn't really looking, because it's quite small type. Embossing folders is what I looked at, and what I should have looked at was embossing powder on the next line down. So when I turned to 184, 185, it was indeed embossing folders, but the powders are on page 146. So I felt a bit silly when I checked that later on, and I literally rang demonstrator support to report an error in the catalogue, and then I realised, no, that was actually me. Okay, so heat gun on, just let that warm up. And then just bring this in from one edge. And you'll see it goes nice and glossy. Just work your way methodically along your stamped image. And then my tail's at the bottom. Let me have a look. So I'm just putting that against the light. Yep, that's all nice and shiny. I don't know if you can see how shiny that is. Let me compare that with this one here. I know it's different colours, obviously, and I've done this with the pens, and you could still do that and heat emboss it. Okay, because when you apply the Versamark and the embossing powder, it doesn't matter what's underneath. Okay, so there it is, all nice and shiny. Even the little tails here. So that's definitely worth a go. I'm going to make that, just make that up quickly onto a card. You can do this with any image. You can also do it with sentiments. And solid images it works beautifully with as well, because you will get that really deep glossy finish. Let me just grab some card. Now you'll see, now I was telling you that it will go darker, so this is Pacific Point I stamped in, but it's almost now Night of Navy. Okay, just because it's gone deeper, because it's got the coating on top. Alright, so if you're colour matching specifically, go for one slightly lighter ink colour than you might normally use. Oh, Sam's late again. That's okay. I hope you're well, Sam. Right, let me grab some card. I've got a piece of Night of Navy and Coastal Cabana. Let's have a look. So can you see that is now almost Night of Navy rather than Pacific Point. So I've got these two layers. These are scored, so I'm just going to cut one up. So I think I'm going to do onto Navy and then onto Coastal Cabana like that. Okay, so let me just cut that up. I hadn't prepared because I wasn't quite sure until I started what colours I was going to use. So this is I pre-scored this. I often will score a whole bunch of cards and then keep them in my coloured card section. So I'm going to cut that down so the other one is the right size, and then I'll cut this one down to 10 centimetres. By 14.35. Like so. And that should fit nicely on this layer here. Like there. So I can add Happy Birthday to You like we did earlier. Like this one here. Okay. I can also round the corners or do this like I did with this one here. Okay, so I think I'll round the corners on this one just for a slightly different look. So this is our trio punch, and you can choose to do all four. Sometimes I just do all opposite ends like so. Just has a different feel about it, like that, and then that is going to go onto there. So because I've heat embossed, you'll notice that this is sitting slightly curved, okay, because it's got the powder on and it's been heated. So just make sure that you add plenty of adhesive to the back. And I tend to do it split middle like that, so I'm covering more of an area but not actually using any more adhesive. Actually, I might just do that and that. Okay, so just give it a little bit of thought when you're placing it down. This one on here. There we go. Really does step it up. Once you've seen it heat embossed, it looks quite dull. The rest of the ones that I've done. Never mind. I think it's because it's a dull day, it's not helping. Okay, so I'm going to position this on here. Let's put it on the right side, like so. So, fold that one over, and then I can pop my sentiment on the inside. What I might do on this one is cut out some numbers, so you could put, you know, like a 5 on there. You could put the number in the center or on the side. So I'm not going to add anything else to the front, because I might well do that, but I will add that fun sentiment here. It's your day, enjoy it. And we'll be done just after half an hour. That's not bad. If any of you listen to Radio 2, you'll be in time for Popmaster. Okay, so this is the Pacific point. So just making sure that's well inked up. Popping that on there. There we go. And that's our card done. I could add some ribbon to that, like I have done here and here. Okay, depends on whether you want to step it up or not really. I'm going to keep this one plain and then decorate it as I need to do maybe an aged birthday. Okay, or just leave it plain as that. There we go. So thank you for joining me. So this is heat embossing, any colour, like so. And in this case, 2 colours, but you could do more. And it would definitely work with pens, which is what I did yesterday, using our Stampin' Write markers to colour in the happy birthday and the string in one colour, and then using the pen for the rest of that area. And you could of course colour in these flowers as well if you wished. So thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, I don't know where the time is going. Oh, thank you, Helen. Oh yes, that's always a good question. So with our Stampin' Up card, it's because it's well pressed, it's not as critical which way you fold it, okay? And it also depends on the thickness. But as a general rule, Carol, if I score it that way, okay, so you're breaking the fibres on this side, they're the ones that you want to stretch round, okay, which is why I turned my card over. So yeah, score, and that is the outside, because what you're doing is breaking the fibres so they stretch without cracking. Okay, as I said, on our card it's not as critical because our card is well pressed. But if you use something like Thick Whisper White or a very thick card, then that can break the fibres a little bit more. So definitely score and then fold away from you, if that makes sense. Okay, hope that's been helpful. I'm glad I spotted that. I don't know if anybody else does it the same way. Lovely. Thank you so much for joining me, everybody. I hope your day gets a little bit brighter. I'm back off to finish my packing of my class in a box, which is due to go out this afternoon. So thanks for joining me. I will be back tomorrow, and I'm going to change my times on Tuesday, Thursday and Friday, so they're all going to be 5 o'clock. It seemed to suit some people better. 7 o'clock seems to clash with people getting meals and what have you. So from now on, Mondays and Wednesdays will be 10 a.m. Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays will be 5 p.m. I will update my header page on the Facebook group here, Facebook page, so you know what times they are. So hopefully I will see some of you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Oh good, Verity, I'm glad you do it the same way. Lovely, thank you everybody. I really appreciate you taking your time.